Welcome to Marcielle Presents, a show about people who have an impact on our society. I'm your host, Marcielle Brandler, and today I have three fantastic guests. And if you put the first photograph up of Steve, Steve Bruner is comedy pure and simple. He has been featured on A&E, ABC, and Comedy Central, as well as other nationally syndicated TV shows. For over 25 years, he's been seen on television, on cruise ships, at corporate shows, in comedy clubs, and much more. And then if you could show the next photograph of Tyrone Ty at the Coffee Gallery. Ty Fance, clean comedian, wrote and performed in the play Fatherhood with Steve, and it's a funny series of stories by comedian fathers. And then we also have Tymon Shipp, and this is Tymon at Warner Brothers. Tymon, clean corporate comedy. He has appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno 9 times and has performed at such venues as Brad Garrett's Comedy Club, at the Tropicana in Las Vegas, and many other venues. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Marcielle.
It's so cool to have these
we were
men
so quiet
here.
there.
Yeah, I've never seen you quiet before. Now, Steve, you were on stage with Art Linkletter and Ray Charles. What were those like?
Not at the same time. But,
No?
they don't usually play the same venues, but it was great. One of my first big gigs was the Ray Charles gig, and I never got to meet him. I did my show and was promptly ushered out.
Oh, yeah.
But it was a real fun time. And Art Linkletter, sadly, they both passed away. What is that? Work with Steve Bruner.
Yeah.
That's it.
Not only in your
Kills
career,
your show.
yeah, exactly. And Art Linkletter was one of the nicest people I'd ever met in my entire life. Just one of the kindest folk. He just seemed to be so radiantly happy about his life.
Wow,
and,
very cool.
When I went with I went to get his intro, and he just said, "Well, come in." He goes, "I know all about me. Tell me about you."
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about you. And I'm like, "What the heck?"
What a
and
sweet man.
Yes, I don't know. At the very end of the show, he said, "Hey, do you have one of those phones? I'd like to call my wife. Mobular phones." I go, "Oh, yeah, I have one of that." And I called his. He said, "Hey, could you dial my wife?" And then I said, "Oh yeah." It rang. I said, "Hold for Mr. Linkletter," and handed it. She goes, "Hi, I'm coming home. I'm all done. The show went great, and I love you. I'll see you in a bit." And I hung up. She goes, she's 95 at this point, I think, and he says, "Oh, I always call her before I come home to make sure she had the boys out."
Right.
Oh, how sweet.
You mentioned Art Linkletter. I'm also thinking Lawrence Welk. What's going on, man?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like
That's right, those olden days. Now, Tymon, you're a corporate comedian, and you appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and Brad Garrett's Comedy Club. What were those like?
Brad's room doing the Tropicana was great. It's just to go in, packed house, and the Tropicana was beautiful. Now it's
People are drinking, so they're
Yes.
feeling no pain.
We're not drinking? Wait, what are you saying?
Yeah. And now it's at the MGM Grand, which is another great room where Brad has his room, so it's Tropicana first. On Jay's show, I was doing comedy skits. I didn't actually do stand-up comedy. I went in, I played Colin Powell.
Oh.
I also did where we did some detective work when they were having problems with the NFL.
Yeah.
And they were, we actually did a skit about getting NFL players that were, I guess, stealing jocks and all that stuff. Yeah, this kind of.
How
so it was
funny.
kind of weird, but it was fun. I got that doing I went in for an audition at a casting director showcase. And he just kept calling me for skits.
Nice.
Union work.
Nice.
Now, Tyrone, I know you and Steve did Fatherhood.
Right.
Can you explain what that is? And you were over at the Coffee Gallery and other venues.
Right. Well, it came about because I was talking to him about doing a stand-up show on fatherhood, Father's Day. And then when we sat around and started talking about it, the last thing comics wanted to do, at least my two friends, is tell stories. They wanted to tell jokes. I said, no. We do jokes all the time. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about being dads. You know? Let's talk about the ups, the
Intimate
downs,
stuff,
the poignant
really,
moments, the touching moments. They go, no, hell, I don't want to do that.
Because that's a downer.
But they actually pulled it off, and it turned out to be a very touching and well-received show. We ended up doing 3 shows that were sold out.
Fantastic.
And
yeah, I know I was there, and the picture that I took, and several pictures, is wonderful.
It was really good. And I surprised, well, I had to be honest, I didn't tell you this, but I surprised myself to actually be able to tell the story without go to jokes, because jokes is my safe haven, basically. If I'm uncomfortable, I'll say something funny to make people like me.
Mellow it out.
But to tell a real story and stay in the story, that was a challenge.
It's scary.
People responded to that.
And also if it's your personal life and it's really something sensitive, like one guy talked about his child who died, and that's heavy stuff. Remember that?
I think it was more, it's his wife who passed away.
Right, wife passed away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about fathers who, it wasn't just about comedian fathers. It was more like fathers was kind of the top of the pyramid, and us being comedians is what we had in common.
Right.
So, so the story was more about life, and, and then and the comedy was sort of the strength that brought us all together. So
now all 3 of you are clean comedians. What does that mean, clean comedians? Do you think it's marketable?
Clean comedy is being able to go into different venues, and without running the crowd away, as per se, to getting very graphic.
Yeah.
To talk about things that people relate to.
Yes.
As well, and being able to you don't have to use curse words. You don't have to, and still be funny, because the curse words are not what your act stands on, or what the comedy stands.
That's right.
It stands on what you're talking about, what your point of view is on life, and giving it to people, and finding within that the things that people relate to.
That's right.
If you can do that, you can talk about pretty much whatever you want without offending.
That's right.
People. And so when you call it corporate, most corporate comedy is clean.
Clean, yeah.
But if you want to do a church.
That's right. And you can sell it to anyone, and anybody can hear it, and even kids. Kids happen to be in the room or whatever.
And that calls you to do your homework. If you are doing a clean act and you look at your age range, basically you're doing your homework. So you're going in, looking at age, looking at ethnicity, you're looking at clothing, all these different things that people, people may not pay attention to.
Yeah.
And that way you know how to present that particular comedy. And present it in a clean
I never
way.
thought about that, but I always talk, when we talk about writing, we always talk about know your audience.
Yeah.
But I never thought about the way they dress, and but it kind of tells you a little bit about them as people. So
And I'm not really sure that we're not prudes. We know what's out there. For me, I don't think clean comedy was something I necessarily jumped at. Oh, hey, I want to be a clean comedy. It just happened to be the way I thought, and so I think clean got more applied as opposed to something that I saw, because I didn't grow up around language, and so I didn't necessarily incorporate it. I think I heard my dad swear twice, and
my parents
I think,
too.
Once was
the word hell was like big, and that was bad.
I'm not against use of language when it's appropriate. Certainly, George Carlin had. I mean, he's probably one of the strongest writers that ever did stand up, and he just grew up differently. So
and a lot of people will just drop the F-bomb like too much. And it's just like, you can't get past it, and especially if they bleep it. I hate that when they bleep, because it's like,
if it's necessary for the punchline.
The F-bomb is a joke today, because you're dumbing down your comedy.
Yes.
You're taking away. So if you're just dropping F-bombs all day, then it tells you have nothing to talk about.
That's right.
And I was, even with him, I noticed when I was doing the college circuit, and a lot of people. College circuit.
I was just making sure that reference.
Who, me?
Yeah, what Steve was saying, when I did the college circuit, they told me I can't hire you. The reason why I started working clean, they wouldn't hire me because they said you curse too much.
Oh, you did?
Can we cuss on this show?
No, you cannot. No.
Yeah.
This
and
is
so when you're on there, you weren't. And so I had to change my act.
Yeah.
But what I did, all I did was remove the curse words.
That's all it is.
Comedy that won itself.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about
it. And it's a tone of voice anyway. I mean, you can say a word and just go, I love you. And that, that's as strong as an F-bomb, if you really want to be blunt about it,
What's interesting is you talk about clean comedy. Doing the comedy clubs, there is no such thing. You can't really you won't be able to predict what's going to come out of their mouth, especially when they're nervous and they're not getting laughs. These are comics.
Yeah.
So a thoughtful, clean show. Funny thing you should say clean, because I was thinking about this the other day. Some people perceive clean comedy shows as boring.
Yeah.
Because then they don't have the unpredictability as an audience.
I see.
However, the audience that is known and has seen clean comedy or has seen a clean comedy show will prefer that.
Yes.
But there's an interesting thing, the people who go to the clubs and they hear clean comedy, they're not that interested. Because they're thinking, oh, they're not going to be that funny because they're not going to be that
They're not going to surprise
spontaneous.
me and be unpredictable.
But it can be a really good show.
I'm not sure anybody ever gets introed as, please welcome the clean comedy of
well,
Steve
no,
Bruner,
I've heard that.
Oh,
I've heard
boy.
that, and you go, and I don't have a problem with it because I know it's cool.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, there is a stigma about it because I've seen it being advertised a lot now. Clean comedy. Why do you have to say that? Just say it's going to be a great show.
In itself
Yeah,
is supposed to be
it's
funny.
gonna be a
so
great
you can do
show.
it
Now,
with
when you
language
do a
without.
church,
Yeah.
and the audience after they said, "You didn't curse. You didn't say a bad. How did you go through? All I see is blip, blip, blip from people all day
Yes.
long. You went up there and you made me laugh, and you didn't curse. Where can I find that?"
Yeah.
I said, "Well, you have to look out for those type of people.
Yeah, you have to come to me
Yeah.
Yeah,
and pay me
there you
good
go.
money.
You know,
Me and
because-
my friends, right? Yeah, right.
So I think clean comedy is probably in demand, don't you think?
It is. It
Because
is.
people are so sick of, like, when I think it was Steve, you said, the idea that, or you don't, some of you said, you don't have, you don't have much to say, so when you run out of stuff as Tymon, and you run out of something to say, then you're trying to shock the
Well, they
listener
think
with
they're
a
being
word.
quiet. They think that Richard Pryor. Understand?
Yeah.
It was the stories, then the curse word.
That's right.
Also, that's what the character said. He didn't
Yeah.
stand there. And even with Carl.
Yeah.
You know. It's the same
That's
thing.
right. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
that's
his
a good
style.
point. I mean, if anybody really looked at Richard Pryor's, and I'm an advocate for Richard Pryor, by the way.
Yeah.
If you ever would listen to his
isn't?
stuff, well, there's some people go, oh, he's nasty, but no. If you listen to the story, Tymon made a good
he
point.
makes a good
it's
point.
the character.
Yeah.
He's in full performance, and if the character said it, you believed it.
That's right.
Whereas some comics start out with the words, the bad words, whatever, and it's them doing it, and it's not funny.
That's right.
If it's
Now
a crutch, knock it
Yeah,
out.
it's
if
not
it's
good.
integral to the story,
Then
the
it's
language
good.
was part of the thing, we can all buy it a little
That's
bit more,
right.
but you're not going to do a church.
That's
if you're
right.
and that you're not going to do a corporate. Although I've been on a couple corporates with other comics, and they were hired to be who they are, and who they are happens to be a little more
Risque.
language. Risque is great. And,
Now, guys, we have a photograph of Ty at Portico's.
all right,
And so tell us about this
Where's
gig,
that at?
Ty.
we're looking.
Where's that photo?
Please put the photograph up of Ty at Portico's.
Cute
That-
Portico.
Well, this picture that's coming up is a flyer of me and a couple of comics doing a show at, interesting enough, a church structure. There's a church next door.
Like a church building.
And they built a theater next door, a 99-seat
It's a
theater
great
next door.
theater.
Yeah, and it was put on by a friend of mine, comedian Katsy Chappelle. And this was just basically a clean comedy show. And it's kind of what Tymon really said. It's my same act without
just deleting certain words.
And it's generally not in the end there if I'm conscious. If I go crazy and just start rambling, occasionally, just being crazy Ty, something will come out. But this show was just focused on telling jokes and stories quickly, efficiently.
Now, do we have that picture?
We do. It's up.
I've seen
we
it earlier.
can
It
see
looked
on
great,
the
by the
end.
way.
Yeah.
I saw it earlier.
Okay, good.
So,
and
it
then
was
let
a
me
good show.
ask you, gentlemen, do you have a philosophy or intention behind your work?
She must be talking to you guys when she said
Well,
gentlemen.
I'll
certainly do not have any gentlemen.
I'll speak on mine.
aspects.
I'll speak on mine
Please.
real quickly. Yes. Interesting. When I first started, I just did joke.
Right.
And only because it was all I knew, and it was a safe haven for me.
Yeah.
But when I started writing about my life, I found that I wanted to be more honest and more authentic and more
Have a deeper
real.
connection,
And
too.
I'm sorry, yes, but that did it for me because then I found that there were instances in my life that once I told about, they were funny. And so I just said, I want to do more of this.
Yeah.
Plus, I had an issue with remembering my routines. So if
If it's a story, then you don't have to remember.
it was my life,
If you're
right?
if you're the
That's right.
star of your
I can
story,
do
you
that.
can remember
Now,
that.
what
That's
about
memory.
Tymon? What about you? Do you have a philosophy?
Storytelling was, I was trying to get to storytelling. But when you first start out as a comic, you have to cut away all the fat because you only get 3 minutes on
That's
stage.
right.
So you can't get to the story.
Yeah.
So, plus I had to catch up to my comedy. My comedy was way ahead of me. I had to catch up. There wasn't nothing wrong with the comedy. There was something wrong with me. So you're learning to acknowledge and deal with you have to sit down and have dinner with your demons.
Have dinner with your demons.
Yes.
Wow.
And you start to learn, and you start to have to deal with trying to get into being this comedian.
I like what you said. They're buying. The demons are buying.
You're trying to put Tymon on stage.
Yeah.
So you're working to get to that point to where you can tell the story, and it's taking well over 20 years to get that
really
guy
heavy
to where you can and do your philosophy of your comedy and go up and vent and talk about what you feel.
Now, what got you guys into comedy in the first place? Because that's kind of a difficult, standing up in front of people. The hardest thing is to make people laugh. Like just getting up there as a stranger.
I got a lot of positive reaction from making people laugh. I was a very small kid, I think, growing up, and I didn't get beat up when I made the guys that were going to beat me up laugh. And also, I just sort of saw the whole world a little differently, and I realized, I think my dad shook his head every time I go, oh, what if he said this? And my dad would go, what the heck is this kid saying? And it got people around to laugh. Of course, it got you into trouble in class and things like that. But there were some pivotal moments that got me into comedy. Seeing Bob Hope on the television at around Christmas time. The whole family gathered around, and I couldn't understand what this guy that just did one show a year, as far as I knew, what is his job? And my dad said, well, he's a comedian. And I said, can you make a living? And I remember my dad very specifically going, oh, yeah. And it was almost as if he was impressed with
Now, how do you guys get gigs? Is it hard to get gigs?
To just talk about how I got into it real quick before that, interesting enough, I too watched television, Red Skelton, Ed Sullivan Show, and those things, and I liked it too, right? Yeah. But I didn't know what it was, not like that. Right. I made jokes in class, got in trouble, and then finally someone said to me, you think you funny. No, some dude that was kind of a bad guy said, you think you funny? Because I was getting all the laugh, and he was envious because the girls were paying attention. Ignored. So he said, you think you're so funny, why don't you go up there to the comedy club and do a show? I'm like, well, all right, fine. I went to the Improv. They had amateur night. They give you 3 minutes. And I went up there and told the same things that I was saying in class. The 3 minutes. 2 minutes and 48 seconds, nothing. Scary. Crickets.
Okay.
2 seconds of pure bliss.
Of laughter.
Got some laugh after I commented on how bad I was. And they laughed, and I went, okay, I'm in. I'm hooked. Okay.
So self-deprecation did it.
It did.
How funny.
Not necessarily the greatest routine, but it had a little bit of light to see me go, this would work if I could do better.
So Tymon, how about you?
My dad was a great storyteller. My dad made my mother married my father because he made her laugh.
Yeah, that's what my mom always said.
And my dad was a great storyteller. And before he passed, he saw one of my tapes.
Oh, cool.
He said, hey, boy, how'd you learn how to do that? I said, I'm sitting there. You don't get it. I sat there and watched, and all the characters.
I was sat at the feet of the master, Dad. You know, that's
watching,
very cool.
You know, putting all these characters together. He had his friend Maxie and Smiley and Burnt. He had all these different characters, and I pretty much imitated all of them.
That's how you do it.
Nice. So I should tell my dad he needs more colorful friends.
That's right. Now, Steve, we got a picture of you.
We do.
With the marquee from your site. And can you, I think we have a little bit of time, can you do like a real short bit for us?
I can do a very short bit. I always think that very funny people are children. So you want to listen to comedy, listen to a 5-year-old. Trying to do the Pledge of Allegiance. That's always I pledge Elizabeth to the flag on the Chinette plates of America, and on the subject of the witch who stands by the one naked individual under God with library juice for Paul.
Library juice for Paul.
Library juice.
That is cool.
Oh, hey, thank you. That's far more than it usually gets.
Oh, that's cute. Tymon, we have a picture of you, if we can have that photograph up. Flyer.
Beautiful. We're just going to play like it's beautiful.
Yeah, and Tymon's been on CBS, a series called That's Life. And how did you get on that show, Tymon?
Audition.
Audition.
Straight audition. I got called up.
How do you find the audition?
I had an agent.
Oh, you get an agent.
Yeah, I had a commercial and theatrical agent, and they sent me out, and I nailed it.
And that speaks to something for some of us who want to get agents. You have to have something to offer before you get the agent.
Yes.
And what is that?
Yeah, I started in theater. When I came out here, I was doing theater. And my friends kept pushing me to do stand-up. I hadn't even went up on stage.
And did you already have an agent when you were doing theater?
No, I went out and I just started auditioning. I looked up and heard about different things. And
just call them and say, hey, that's what I do. Yeah, just call them up.
And the agent that I went out for, the third time that they sent me out, I got 9 national commercials with Xerox.
Wow.
And then from
good
there,
money. Commercials are good money.
Yeah, and then they sent me out. They said, hey, can you do television? I said, sure, put me out there. So they saw my background.
Wow.
So I went
Wow.
auditioned for That's Life and got it.
Now here's a picture of fatherhood. Can we have that picture up? This is Ty and Steve, and you're already
our good friend Stan. We don't want to leave Stan Sellers out.
Yeah,
very
and
talented.
yes.
So we saw that.
In all kinds of ways, very funny as well.
Yeah, so we're going to fast forward because we already
not here. We'll
you
talk about
didn't say that much about me.
No, I figured you would not even be quiet about how talented you are.
And also, Tymon, you won an award. Can we have that picture? Best Male Comedian in 2006 in Las Vegas Comedy Festival.
Yeah. He did not have to get an operation for that award. He was always
a male.
He just was the funniest male there.
And what was performing in Las Vegas like?
That was fantastic. That was the first time performing there. I was there for the Las Vegas Comedy Festival, and it's like probably my second time going down there. Oh. And actually, that was they were honoring Richard Pryor.
Sweet.
Cool.
You know, and the great Soupy Sales was there.
Soupy Sales, the Soupy Sales Shuffle. I remember that.
Soupy was there, and
cool.
When they made it was funny when they made that announcement.
Wow.
One comic who was drunk.
Okay.
And he
that doesn't narrow it down.
And he said, he said, and the winner of the best male comedian, Tymon Shipp, and this guy said, where's my award at? I needed an award. He had his can of beer with him. And he said, Marty, I'm kicking your behind. And Soupy said, whoop. He looked around, and I had the first time because he was sitting there and I hadn't seen him move all day.
Wow.
Finally moved. Yeah, the guy just got upset.
Well, I didn't get an award. And then we have a picture of Off My Head, Tyrone.
I've read it.
You just recently did a great book, and the signing was at Coffee Gallery.
Yeah.
Off My Head and Over the Fence. And what prompted you to write a book?
You know, it was evolution. I did the story. I mean, I did stand up, right? They weren't hiring over 50 comics regularly enough, so I decided to get into storytelling. Oh. And that's when I started to be more authentic. Oh my God, there's that word again. Yeah. And as I did that, these stories, I was telling them to my kids. Oh. And I thought, they really liked them, and they got to know me better. Yeah. And I want this to be more available to them later in life.
Something you can.
Something written,
that's
permanent.
Right, and something permanent.
In doing that, so eventually I said, okay, I'm going to publish this. Yeah. You know, and we got it in the book form, and it was wonderful. Really a good move.
Now, speaking of kids, we have a picture of Tyrone. And can you put that picture up? This is really Ty in 10th grade.
Look at that.
Why would you want to do that?
I know.
All the hair doesn't even fit in the screen.
It doesn't even fit in the. And let me ask you guys, what were you like as kids?
Ooh, yikes. I was, you know what, since you have my photo. Yeah. Sure. By the way, on a windy day, it took me 3 or 4 days to cross the street with that hair. You know what? I was shy. I mean, I was shy. First of all, I moved here from Texas. Here, being
and you
California.
were in kind of a wild neighborhood, and you had to learn how to protect yourself.
It was very intimidating. I moved from Texas to Compton.
Yeah, nasty.
With an accent. Yeah. From Texas, got teased a lot. So it was. I didn't say much. Yeah. I didn't say much. It was very quiet. And as you look at that picture, it looks like I needed to be protected. Yeah. I needed help. But you know, but kind of smart. You know, read the books, and was cute.
Cute.
Cute. A lot of people thought I was cute.
Cute and lovable.
So that gave me some social skills.
And Steve, what were you like as a kid?
I had such an idyllic. I didn't know there were any troubles in the world until I left for college. So I just had fun and was in plays and in band and in chorus and ran track and played tennis and just had a great group of friends that I'm still great friends with. And
wow.
They were all funnier than I was, and so that was fabulous because I could say something that they said a long time ago. It's a lot funnier the way you say it. And I was like, okay, I'll write that down and
improve on
I had
the
a great time. I was really I graduated high school at 5'2". So I was a little boy among all kinds of men. 5'10".
Yeah,
5'10" with heels.
Yeah.
Now,
Tymon, how about you?
Weird, because I left East St. Louis, Illinois, left the murder capital of the United States, and moved to Denver, Colorado. So white suburbia and the ghetto.
From really ghetto to,
yes, crisscross,
wow.
and so that was different. Huge change, and weird, because I was kids had never seen guys like me, and I had never seen guys
wow.
But you had all seen snow.
Yeah.
So that was
all seen snow. Now we want to tell the viewers how to reach you guys. So Steve, tell us how to reach you.
SteveBruner.com is a fantastic way to get a hold of me. SteveBruner.com, you can find me. Yep. It's not hard.
Great. And Ty?
Really easy, Fance at
F-A-N-C-E.
at gmail.com.
Yeah. And Tymon?
TymonShipp.com, TYMONSHIPP.com.
Should I spell mine?
Yeah.
I have you can get my email address, cell phone.
Everything there. Yeah. Steve, spell your name for us.
Oh, it's STEVE, and then B as in boy, RUNER.
.com.
.com.
And for more, to learn more about Marcielle Presents, or to donate or be a sponsor, we are looking for sponsors, and there are some fantastic benefits on the website. You can email me at marcielleverizon@verizon.net, or you can call 818-388-3409 and look for us. We are always here on this station. This is Marcielle Brandler. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Well done.
Bye.
All right. See you guys soon.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Actually, comics actually having a